Okay, so this would be an example of a video that I would send to you of obviously your young athlete's swing. This is a young athlete that I already work with. Blocked out his face just for privacy reasons, but a young athlete that I already work with. Let's take a look at his swing, and this would be an example, like I said, of a video that I would send to you, of the video that you send to me of your young athlete's swing. So let's take a look at it now. I'm going to start talking to the video as if I was talking to you now. So, okay, let's take a look at the swing. Setup is good. The one thing to take a look at, he's a little bit on his heel. You're a little bit on your heels. Back here, try to start on the balls of your feet so you know that when you load back with your lower half, that you're going to be able to stay in an athletic stance. Otherwise, the setup with the bat looks good. Everything else looks good as well as far as the setup goes. Now, when he starts to load back, I'm going to focus on your lower half first. I want you to notice something. So you can tell some of that weight is starting to get on the back side of his back foot as opposed to staying on the inside of your front foot. What we want to do is make sure that you keep your weight on the inside part of your back foot so that when you load into your back hip, it's easier for you to load out of it and go towards the baseball. So make sure you keep that weight towards the inside part of your back foot. Now the load going back is pretty good. There's nothing wrong with bringing that knee, the front knee to the other knee. And then you can tell there's some loading going into the back hip area, which is exactly what we're looking for. And then as you start to come out of it, you attack it towards the baseball. Okay, let's shift to the upper half now. So it's hard to tell because it's blocked out a little bit, but the shoulders are starting to turn. Ideally, what we'd want to have happen is the hands would push back a little bit and the shoulders wouldn't turn quite so much. So as the shoulders start to turn, it just creates a lot of opportunity for the front shoulder to fly off the baseball, and then it creates a little bit more issues as the swing starts to unfold. So let's take a look at one other major thing that we want to look at. Take a look at the front arm. So this part right here, what happens to it? So as he starts to come forward, as you start to come forward with your lower half, it goes from being bent like this to straight. And by straight, it means you're locking yourself out. So now, because you've locked yourself out with that front arm, it makes it difficult to stay inside the baseball going to the baseball. Okay, one of the things that's a key to driving the baseball to all fields is that you need to keep the knob of the bat and therefore the barrel of the bat between the baseball and your body. And what happens is, because your front arm is locked out, you end up coming around the baseball. So you can tell that barrel right now is starting to come around to the baseball rather than staying inside tight to the baseball. Okay, now on contact, let's take a look at what the hands are doing here. So right about here, I'd say his top hand palm is facing up, bottom hand palm is pretty much facing down. That's what we'd like to have happen on contact. But instead, on contact, you can tell that top palm is facing out and the bottom palm is facing that way. And that means it's rolling over on the baseball. His hands are rolling on the ball, and that's going to cause a lot of ground balls to the left side. That in combination with coming out and around it. So if you come out and around the baseball and you roll your hands on contact, you're going to end up with a lot of ground balls to the left side of the field towards the shortstop, as opposed to being able to spray the ball to all fields. Okay, so try to do a better job of when you're loading. There's a good bend in the elbow right there. Keep it that way. Don't let your front arm, it's called an arm bar, so don't let it arm bar out, because then the barrel is going to follow and it's going to come out and around to the baseball rather than being able to stay inside the ball to it. Now, inside the ball does not mean down. I keep drawing this down. Doesn't mean you're swinging down to the ball. We don't want to swing down to the baseball. You want to get on plane with the pitch down here and start working uphill to the baseball so that it's matching the pitch plane coming in. Okay, let's take a look at the finish. Now there's a little bit more in that lower half, I think. So let's take a look at the lower half as we start to swing. The back foot is one of the last things to go with this swing. What we want to have happen is the back foot starts to turn about right now, so the back hip can turn, and then it brings the bat through, as opposed to bat comes through, then back foot starts to turn. So it doesn't start to turn until about right there, and that just means there's more left in your hips. So the hips right now are facing probably the second baseman. If we're trying to hit the ball right up the middle, which we should be when we're training, when the tee is right down the middle, if we're trying to do that, that means the hips and the belt buckle have to be facing at least the pitcher, if not farther. That way we know you're getting the most out of your lower half. And then the follow-through looks pretty good. Looks like a nice high follow-through, which means there's some extension there. Nice job. So that's an example of a video evaluation that we would make for you, that I would make for your athlete. If you send that in, and we'll get that out to you.